I wrapped these bites in bacon, smoked them on the barbecue, and by the end of this video, you'll beg me to give you the recipe.
Big thanks to Napoleon Grills for sponsoring this episode.
It starts with half a side of a beautiful salmon. All you need to do to prepare the salmon is to remove the skin and then cube it up. And that's how you end up with bite-sized salmon. Now of course that salmon is gonna need some seasoning, something to elevate its flavors to beyond imagination. I'm talking about furikake. And I'm giving this furikake a PitmasterX twist. That's why I call it the PitmasterX furikake BBQ rub. First thing to do is take out 2 seaweed nori leaves. Grind them up, and that adds up to about 2 tablespoons. Then you're going to take some smoked bonito flakes, grind them up as well. And it should be almost the same amount as the nori leaves. Then you're going to add a tablespoon of chili flakes if you like the heat, a tablespoon of white sesame seeds, a tablespoon of black sesame seeds, half a tablespoon of garlic powder, a tablespoon of onion powder, and you're going to finish off with a tablespoon of salt. Mix that up, and that's how you make PitmasterX's furikake barbecue rub. If you live in Europe, then we have a standard seasoning for fish, and mostly it involves salt, pepper, dill, maybe a little bit of garlic and onion. If you live in the US, you have Old Bay. But this is the Japanese version of seafood seasoning. And this stuff is freaking amazing. Of course, you can just buy this in a store or you can make it yourself. Oh. I'm gonna sprinkle this onto my salmon. And besides it being very tasty, it's also gonna give me great looks on the salmon. All of these coarse ingredients are gonna stand out. And you're gonna have something really different than to a classical barbecue rub. Of course, I'm gonna season on all sides. Just a light seasoning will be more than enough. Now you're gonna take one of the delicious salmon cubes and wrap it up in bacon. That's how easy life is. Ta-da! I'm gonna wrap all of these salmon bacon bites up because you know one isn't gonna be enough. I'm going to be cooking on the Napoleon Kettle Pro. This is a kettle style barbecue that's going to allow me to smoke those bites to perfection. Because I want that bacon smoked, I want the salmon to be smoked, it's all got to be smoked. But you can never overcook your salmon. Otherwise, yeah, the salmon police is going to come, it's going to throw you in the slammer.
Sorry, my brakes are getting squirrely on me.
Take out the cast iron grill grate, and since all we're going to be doing is smoking salmon, which is not going to take that long, we're going to use a light charcoal. A light wood like this is not going to burn really slow. It's going to burn super fast if you let it. So what we do is we control the airflow, let this slowly burn up, and not put in too much charcoal. So we can keep control over the heat at any time, because for salmon you'll be looking for a low and slow cook. Take out a fire starter, stick it in, light it up. To smoke the salmon I'm going to use beech wood. This is a hardwood and it's a preferred flavor for smoking in Europe, and I'm going to cut this up into a little chunk which is going to be perfect for the barbecue. This is still quite a lot for a small kettle grill. But since we are smoking salmon only for a short period of time, we're going to need loads of smoke in that short period. And that's why I'm going to use a bigger one. The charcoal is now lit and it has a sufficient energy to bring the barbecue up to temperature. So then I know it's time to put my smoke wood on, put the cast iron grill grate on in the highest position so we have as much as possible distance from the fire, close the lid, open up the top vent, and close the bottom vent. And that's the perfect smoking setup for a kettle grill like this. And you can see that we're instantly getting smoke. Now the first thing that I want to happen is to lower the temperature a little bit, let it stabilize before I put that salmon on. Otherwise the heat that sits inside here right now is just going to cook my salmon way too fast. Once the Napoleon grill stabilized at a temperature of around 100 degrees Celsius, it's time to put on the salmon. While that salmon is smoking, we're gonna make a sauce. And what better sauce to mix with furikake? Teriyaki, yes. So we're gonna take our pans, we're going to make a teriyaki sauce. Now of course by now you know this is my favorite pan. This is pressed cast iron and it's an absolute beast. It retains heat super well. However, today we're going to do a saute session first. And therefore, I'd rather use this pan. This is a typical pan which they would use in restaurants. But this works just as well at home. And the best feature about it is that it heats up rather quick, but if you switch to turning that sauteed vegetables into a sauce, you need it to cool down instantly. And that's why I use the Scotsburg carbon steel pan. And what are we going to saute? Garlic. Start by chopping up 4 cloves of garlic. And of course I'm going to use the same amount of ginger. And take out that pan, put in a little bit of peanut oil, stir fry the garlic and ginger, add 200 grams of sugar, about 2 cups of soy sauce, a 1/4 cup of rice wine vinegar, a tablespoon of sesame oil, and then mix a teaspoon of cornstarch with a 1/4 cup of water and add that as well. Let it all come up to a boil and then your teriyaki sauce is done. That teriyaki sauce, of course, is going to go onto that bacon and that delicious salmon, which is now fully cooked and smoked. All it needs is that little bit of extra flavor that it gets from the teriyaki sauce. We really want it to stick onto these bites, making it even more special than it already is. Of course, just because we can, we're gonna sprinkle on some more of that furikake. Chili flakes, sesame seeds, all that goodness. Look at it, whoa, look at it. We got the smoky color, we got the teriyaki, and we got the furikake. Teriyaki furikake rhymes for a good reason, because it goes so well together. I'm gonna prove it to you, because I can no longer wait. I'm not gonna be modest, I'm just gonna take a bite. Oh my God, that is so delicious. Wow. I can truly say that if you don't like fish, you're probably gonna love this still. Because this is freaking delicious. I don't get it. Why people are so afraid of this. Look at how cute this is and so tasty. Fantastic.